okay, so I have a personal confession. I have never sat down and watched a full episode of Star Wars Clone Wars. I know. I totally know. Like, I get that, like, a lot of people are just like, what? Yes, it's true. It's true. I've never watched, I'm like Kurt Angle from WWE. Oh, it's true. I've never watched a whole episode all the way through. And I'm aware of like people who existed in the Clone Wars show, like Ahsoka or Asuka, however you pronounce her name. Like, I'm aware that like she exists and like she was in the show, which is how people were introduced to her. And she was a Jedi who did some stuff, but I don't really know much about her. Right? Like, I don't really know a whole lot about this chick. As I understand it, she's a badass, but like, I don't know, right? I don't know. So I sat down to watch the first episode, right? Mariah was like, you need to watch the first episode of, you need to watch the series, right? Didn't really tell me to watch it, but like, I have her reading Jonathan Hickman's Avengers and New Avengers. Oh my God. I have her reading that. So I got it. So I'm going to watch this. The first episode, man, dude, this episode was lit. Look, here's the thing, man. Here is the thing, right? So all right, first things first. I'm kind of hoping those little opening statements that they make, right? Like little opening words of wisdom. I'm hoping they get like more depressing and like screwed up as time goes on. You know what I mean? I don't want to be depressed, but I'm just saying it'd be funny, right? Like if like at the end of the series, you get to like the final episode where it's like, okay, so basically all is lost. Like we're going into episode 3. You know how this turns out. And the opening thing is like, yeah, we're all kind of fucked. Like, I'm hoping that's what it is, something along those lines. But I will say the narrator voiceover in the beginning, that kind of threw me for a loop for a minute there. I was like, okay, this is a little weird. And I was like, I mean, am I really gonna dig this show? Son. Man, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. All right, look, here's the thing, right? So like this first episode, it's cool because it gives you the introduction of what's going on with regards to like the fact that it takes place during the era of the Clone Wars, kind of fills you in on what Yoda's doing, just being casually OP, right? Like you have this guy who's on this world and you have like Count Dooku who's talking to him and he's like, you should join our side. And the guy's like, I mean, I will, but I want to see what the Jedi have going on. So like he talks to Yoda and Yoda's like, you should join our side. And so this guy's like, okay, cool. So like, here's what we're gonna do. Like the apprentice of Dooku is like, how about we have like a fight? Right? Like Yoda's guys versus my guys, and then whoever wins, that's the side you have to go on. Sure, because that makes sense. Hey guys, so like basically Darth Sidious, who is by all standards of measure, like he's a Sith Lord operating as a Chancellor. We all knew something was going on with that guy. Like the first time we saw him in episode 1, we're like, that dude's a bad guy. What he's gonna do, I'm not entirely sure, but he's definitely a villain. And you'd be ridiculous to believe otherwise. Like, I just seem shady. You know what I mean? You ever meet a person like that in your life and you're just like, okay, so I don't know this person, but this guy, their life is going in one of two directions. Either they're already a villain who does some bad stuff, or they're gonna be. Like, you ever meet people like that? I've met people like that, right? It's like this person's obviously the villain of somebody's story. So the whole thing here is like, they're like, okay, let's basically boil this all down to what's effectively a coin flip, right? Like the future of the galaxy hinges on a thumb war, more or less. Not really, that's a terrible analogy. So like, it's one of the cool things, because like the droids come rolling up, right? Like Yoda's got like 3 clone troopers, right? Now here's the thing, 3 clone troopers, those guys are OP, right? Those clone troopers are nuts. They were modeled after Jango Fett. They're wildly capable. They got a secret mission to kill all the Jedi that nobody knows about, but nonetheless, like they're ridiculously capable guys, right? So here's the thing. So these guys side with Yoda, and Yoda's kind of like out there doing his thing, and then you end up having like the droids from the Separatists who like show up. These folks are rolling up in tanks, right? These guys are loaded for bear, right? And this is like, it's supposed to be a fair fight, right? Like 4-on-4, but that's not really what happens. And that one guy on the planet, the king ruler guy, the one who, he looks like the dude from episode 1 who Anakin was like his servant or slave or whatever you want to call it, like basically like that kind of looking guy. And so it's like, okay, like he's a little pissed because he's like, things are supposed to be fair, but hey, like we'll let the chips fall where they may and we'll just see what happens. Man, they just weren't prepared. So these droids roll in, right? I mean, they got tanks and all that kind of stuff. You got like these 3 troopers. You got Yoda sitting there. He's just chilling, right? Like the clone troopers are like, man, like I don't know why this guy's just sitting here relaxing while we're getting ready to face these tanks and these droids and stuff like that, right? Like General Yoda's smoking the hashish. So the thing about this is, like, once these guys roll in, Yoda's like, just have patience, man. They can't get in here. And they can't, right? Like, just because of the whole structure of everything, right? Like, they try to roll in, they end up getting blocked by, like, the weird looking alien bushes. So they kind of have to, like, get out and they have to go on foot. I mean, one of them tries to get through, but, like, at that point, Yoda starts unleashing holy hell. Like, these guys start shooting stuff, and, like, they almost die when, like, some of the droids, like the other droids, right? Like those RoboCop looking droids, when those things show up, right? And then, like, Yoda just kind of casually does away with them a little bit by making one float in the air and, like, shoot all the others. So it's like, okay, cool, this is interesting, right? I can kind of get behind this a little bit. I mean, at this point, I'm just kind of like, all right. I mean, so, like, stuff's happening, and Yoda's doing a few cool things, but it's nothing that, like, I don't expect to see from Yoda, right? You know what I mean? Like, he's just this little OP guy. It's kind of like, okay, you know, this is whatever. But the cool thing came when, like, the three clones were doubting themselves, and Yoda kind of gives them a little bit of a pep talk, and it's like, come on, guys, cheer up, right? We're gonna make this out in one, we're gonna make it out of here in one piece. Nobody's gonna be left behind. Everything's gonna be copacetic. So then Yoda goes after all that, like, goes after the tanks and the droids by himself, man. This little dude, this little bastard, this guy's a one-man army. Dude, it's crazy, right? This guy, man, he's like chopping people up with his lightsaber. He's cutting holes in the bottom of the tanks, right? I mean, this guy is just absolutely demolishing these guys, right? And it's the craziest thing, because, like, the whole time the droids are trying to kill him, right? Yoda's running through this whole thing. He's like, come feel me, and just starts killing these guys, cutting their heads off, right? Like the apprentice tries to get a hold of the droid, like the main general droid, and another droid pops up and is like, the general's dead, right? You know, it's literally like the scene out of Aliens, right? Where one of them's like, droids, we are leaving, right? Like, just like, we're getting out of here, right? And, like, dude gets his head chopped off while he's in the middle of talking to this chick. I mean, it's a bloodbath, son. It's an absolute bloodbath. So literally, Yoda's killing all these guys, quite literally saves the day by himself, because he's the most OP little son of a bitch there ever was in the history of Star Wars. So then, like, you get back to, like, the main king guy and the apprentice. He's talking to Dooku, right? And he's just kind of like, yeah, man, I can't join your side because basically you guys lost. It was supposed to be a fair fight. Not only was it an unfair fight on your side, you still couldn't win. One Jedi, literally, a Jedi crushed all you guys. Now, here's the thing. There is a little bit of an exception here, right? It is Yoda, right? If they had sent in, like, that one Twi'lek chick that got shot to death on that planet that was full of, like, giant mushrooms and stuff, it probably wouldn't have made a difference, right? Or if they had sent, like, Tim the Jedi, it probably wouldn't have done anything, right? Because Tim kind of sucks. I mean, assuming there is a Jedi named Tim, which I would kind of hope that there is, he's like the guy that, like, he's got like a C in Jediing, right? Like, can you turn Jedi into a verb? Right? Can a Jedi be a verb? Is it a thing you can do, right? In the art of Jediing, Tim got a C, which technically is passing, but he's not the best. You know what I mean? Like, he can kind of get the job done sometimes, I guess. But, like, Yoda, like, he's like the grand poobah, right? Like, literally the best of the Jedi. But still, right? You know, Yoda's kind of like, hey, man, now that we won, you got to be on our side. He shows up there. Dooku's like, all right, look, I'm not going to take no for an answer. So maybe if you won't agree, then, like, your apprentice will, right? So, like, he goes to, like, have his apprentice kill that guy. Lightsabers stop dead in their tracks. And I was like, oh, son, it's on now. It's on like Donkey Kong, son. Man, it's about to get real. Yoda comes walking up, and I'm just like, oh, dude, Yoda, man, like, what's Yoda gonna do? Is he gonna kill this chick? Whatever. Like, I have no idea what goes on. She starts talking trash, and Yoda's like, here comes a clue train. The last stop is you. You're powerful in the Force, but you ain't that powerful. I'm Yoda, bitch. You can't touch me. Right? So literally, like, he yanks the lightsabers out of her hand, right? Like, literally turns them off and pulls them out of her hands. And he's just like, yeah, you got a lot to learn. I mean, I literally just took lightsabers out of your hands. Come on, man. Like, you really think you got a chance against me, girl? I just took your main weapon away from you. And then, like, I mean, what could you do to me in the Force, right? I mean, you could try to do something to me in the Force, but, like, let's be honest here, I'm gonna clap them cheeks. So what ends up happening is, like, he gives her lightsabers back, and then she just bails, right? She's just like, okay, yeah, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get while the getting's good, right? She's like Americans moving out of the United States right now, right? Just like getting while the getting's good. That's literally what she does. She just pieces out. And so ultimately the guy ends up siding with Yoda. But here's the thing, man. This show, it's so much better than I thought it was. And I'm one episode in. As I understand it, it only gets better. right? It only gets better of a show. I'm sure it's gonna have its low moments, but I'm sure it's gonna have like its lulls where it's just kind of like, I mean, okay, so like some stuff happened. None of it mattered. It was like the equivalent of like sitting in the lobby of the dentist when you were a kid reading the highlights magazines. You know what I mean? Like it's just not a whole lot doing there. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of a thing. So I'm sure some of the episodes are gonna be that way, but we'll see what happens. Having said that, I'm in the show. Right, I'm definitely in this. So I'm gonna keep watching the rest of this show. Let me know what you guys think about Clone Wars down in the comment section. I'm curious myself. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all later. Peace.